All right, it's Ayla from the Brooklyn Kitchen again, and today we're going to be preserving some lemons. It is a super easy thing to do and super flavorful and delicious. It's usually used in Moroccan cooking. It has this salty, sweet, kind of undescribable flavor. If you've never had it, you got to do this today because it's super good, it's super easy, and if you have, then you know. The only thing that makes this maybe a little bit difficult is that you have to wait a month before you can dive in. So make it now if you have plans in the future to eat this. So things to notice. One, we have washed all of our lemons ahead of time. Make sure you're always washing your produce. That's the most important thing, obviously during these trying times as well. Wash your hands, wash your produce. The message of this is wash everything. So I'm just gonna move these over. You'll also notice that I have some parchment paper here. This makes things easier for me to work for this project because it kind of collects all the salt that we'll be using and we can always reuse it. You don't need this, but it's a great help. I also have some salt. This is whatever you have at home. We have a mix of kosher salt and then a much more fine kosher salt. Use what you have. We just need some salt. Also, I have some jars here that we'll be filling with. And yeah, so because I'm all good and washed up, I'm not worried about gloves or anything like that. I am super washed and clean. My lemons are super washed and clean. The only thing is, if you have any cuts on your fingers, you should wear gloves because there will be lemon, there will be salt, and things that will irritate you. So what I'm going to do here, and we'll demo on this jar. I think that jars that have more of a tapered lid, like these guys, versus this one, makes this project a little bit easier. But if you only have these, it can so be done in this as well. We'll just give you little tips for what to do. So, how to cut your lemon. I'm going to zoom this camera in a little bit so you get better view. So I have a lemon. The only thing that I like to do sometimes with anything is I will sometimes just give myself a little bit of a flat surface. It just makes cutting things a lot easier than trying to cut while things are rolling because that was when you can slip. Now it's got a little sturdy of a base. I'm going to make this sort of tunnel with my hand to hold things in place, and I'm going to cut down in my lemon. However, I'm going to stop and not go all the way. Then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to go against that cut. Same tunnel grip. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to stop. So now you have 4 pieces, but everything is still held together at the bottom. Now, your salt. This is what's going to go down. I'm going to get my jar ready and open. And sometimes I like to just go ahead and throw a little bit of salt in the jar right off the bat. Sometimes it's hard for me to stick my hand in and out of these bags or boxes, wherever your salt comes, so I will make a little pile. This is that little preservey thing that also comes in your shoes. Don't put that in there. Cool. Okay, so also shout out, this is Jacobsen salt. Cool. Our other backup salt here is Morton. So you are going to take salt and you're just going to pack in those lemons. I'm going to go the other direction here and pack in that salt. You can't put too much salt in this project. So just when that looks crazy, that's what you're going to do. You're going to plop this in. Now, we are using a tiny little jar here. Oh my goodness, I picked the worst jar. Okay. Tiny little jar here. That might be the last time we can do a full lemon. If you are doing large containers, I'm used to doing this in very large containers. That is great. If not, we can go ahead and just cut these down the middle to begin with, but I'm still going to do that sort of halfway cut. I'm going to pack it with salt here. I'm going to pack it with salt, and what we're doing is preserving. You know that you preserve things with salt. That's what's going on. So I've cut this in half, and I'm just going to shove this guy in here again. Now, because I've chosen such a small jar, I might even have to do this. But I want to fit things in there. And the point now is, as you're fitting lemons in there, you're pressing it down, you're trying to squeeze as many as you can get in there, that juice is releasing. So it's very important that your preserved lemons are submerged by some type of liquid the entire time. Chances are you're probably using this size jar at home, so I guess I would just go ahead and go straight for the cut from the beginning. You're probably not making gallons and gallons of preserved lemon at home. If you are, you won't have this issue of having to cut down the lemons so many times. All right, I'm gonna try and get one more in here. Okay, and you can see the lemon juice is about to here right now. So as we're packing things in, that lemon juice is gonna help everything work. So what to note once all this gets packed in? One, you wanna keep things submerged. So if you don't get enough juice, but it looks like we have, if you don't get enough juice out of this, squeeze some lemon juice directly into it. That will help you out. We have made it here, but I'm just gonna wipe my hands for a second. What you will notice is I am filled to the top. However, I have some things poking out and I want things to be fully submerged. You can use plastic wrap. I will keep these from my Chinese food, these deli containers, and they're actually pretty easy to cut. I will just cut off the ends to make it a little bit more pliable for myself, and I'll use this. Again, I'm making sure this is good and clean and sanitized, and maybe a little bit smaller here. I'm going to use this to kind of pack everything in and hold everything down. Now I do want it to be a little bit bigger than the top that it's going into, because once it fits in, I want it to kind of leach out and hold everything down. So that's what's going on here. So definitely wash everything is our big tip. Wash your hands, wash your lemons, wash everything, be clean and sterile. Let's see, what else? Make sure everything is submerged. That's your step 2. Make sure you're putting a lot of salt in here. That's your step 3. Now it's hard for you guys to see here, but my lemon juice is now submerged. If for any reason your lemon juice little plastic container keeps bouncing out or keeps opening up, sometimes now that you have a cover, I will roll up a ball of plastic wrap, stick that in there, and then I will put my lid on it. So I'm closing this up, and now it's really important that things stay submerged. You want to make sure that there's always lemon juice in there. Feel free, you can take a peek while it's going, but I've realized that it's best to just let it go for a month. Look how easy that cleanup is. So, my preserved lemons, I'm going a little over here with my content, but my preserved lemons, the best thing to do now, and you'll see if you haven't already, one of my tips is to label everything. So I keep a roll of masking tape with me, or whatever kind of tape you have at home. I'll throw a sticker on here, and I'm gonna label it. So I am not just gonna label what it is, I'm gonna label what it is, preserved lemons. I'm gonna label the date that I made it. So today is 3/17 for me. You might be watching this at a different time. And then things like preserved lemons that have to sit for a month, I'm also gonna write ready by 4/17, so that whoever is living in my house, as a reminder to me if I forget, we work in a kitchen, so we have lots of staff members who can check it out, and they know that I am ready to use these by 4/17. So just some things you can write. Name, date, if there's a sitting period, write the end date. And yeah, so that's preserved lemons. That's super simple. You can always elaborate, and you could put some peppercorns in there, some chilies, star anise, kind of anything that you like, and sort of try out some new flavors. But get started, because you got to eat them in a month. Bye.